This next tour is a walk up Broadway to visit the various public gathering spaces, the circles, squares, and greens that line the famous avenue. Now we're going to start right here, even though the street goes a few blocks farther, but on this side of the sign, it's not Broadway anymore. It's called Whitehall Street, and that saves us a few blocks. Broadway runs all the way up the length of Manhattan, into and through the Bronx, and continues under different names, such as New York State Route 9. But if you ignore all the name changes, then Broadway starts at the tip down there at the East River and moves all the way up to the Canadian border. We will not be walking Route 9. We'll be walking just until we reach the greatest public gathering space, Central Park, which is 843 acres compared to this first park, which is only 1/2 of 1 acre. This is the first public park in New York City, possibly North America, Bowling Green. This was open space during the Dutch days, and as early as the 1630s, it was part of a hog and cattle market known as Markveld, later known as Marketfield. Do you have a question?
Like Marketfield Street?
Marketfield Street. Yes, it's the tiny street 1 block east. That's how it got the name. How old are you?
It was also a parade ground for the Dutch militia.
Yeah, a parade ground for the Dutch militia. And then in the 1730s, it was leased to private citizens for the British game of lawn bowling.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
40 years later, this becomes part of Revolutionary history. In 1770, a gilded lead statue of King George III was placed right here. This wrought iron fence was put up in 1771, partly to protect that statue. On the 9th of July, 1776, after the Declaration of Independence was read in New York, the crowds came down to Bowling Green, tore down the statue of King George III, and ripped off the crowns that were at the top of every 12th spike. Ow, mother! The statue was torn down and taken to Connecticut, where it was melted into bullets to fight the Revolution. The British were coming. 42,088 bullets that injured or killed 400 redcoats at the Battle of Long Island in Brooklyn.
Only for 42,000? That's strange.
That is strange. Good math. If you take a 4,000-pound statue, you should have more than 42,088 musket balls. You only need about 2,100 pounds of lead if you carry the one.
So where'd the rest go?
Good question. The 50-pound head that was supposed to be impaled on a spike was somehow rescued by loyalists and was last seen in England shortly afterwards. Pieces of the saddle, the tail, and other parts have been popping up in Connecticut for the last 200 years.
Whoa. Hartford is the capital.
It is. Hartford is the capital of Connecticut. But these aren't little bites of Connecticut. You know, these are little bites of the Big Apple.
Now I'm going to give you a tetanus shot.
A tetanus shot? What are you, some kind of...